Right, good morning or afternoon or evening, depending on when you're watching this video. Today we are going to be doing a trade breakdown on Euro USD sales that happened yesterday or that I caught yesterday. But on daily, you can see that structure is clearly bullish on daily. Right, so we have our break of structure to the upside. So you can see that we've had price do something like this. Higher high, higher high, and higher high. So if price is to come back, we expect that price is going to eventually take out that high, right? So based on structure, we are bullish on daily. Okay, let's start from weekly now. So on weekly, we had price rejecting from this key level. So weekly rejected that key level. Weekly swept the previous week's low. And on daily, we have a break of structure to the upside from the rejection on weekly. So the rejection on weekly is somewhere around here. And then we have a break of structure to the upside, which is this here. So weekly is on a bullish storyline. Daily, on the other hand, we have a rejection on daily here, and then on H4 we should have a break of structure. So on H4 we have this break of structure here to the upside after this rejection. So daily is on a bullish storyline. So and then we had this H4 structural liquidity. So normally you expect that price is going to come and take out this liquidity, tap a key level close to the liquidity, which in this case is the open close key level here, and then buy from there. You get. So why was I selling when every other when the storyline on the time frames were bullish? Why was I selling? So I'll tell you why I was selling. First logic behind my sales is that this H4 liquidity had to go. So if I was taking any sales, this was my target because I knew that this H4 liquidity had to go because price moves from internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. So this is our internal range liquidity, and then this right here is the external range liquidity. So before price can take out this external range liquidity, it has to come and take out the internal range liquidity. So I knew that price will eventually get to this point, right? And then that's not just what gave me confidence to say. If you check on the daily time frame, think from this key level here, or is it from this key level right here? I think it was from this key level. Just mark it out here, right? Check on that key level now. You notice that price rejected from this key level on Friday. After the rejection from that key level, we'll go to H4 time frame. So this is the rejection right here, and then it gave us a break of structure to the downside here on H4. So that is a bearish storyline. You can see. So these both confluences now, the fact that price has to take out this liquidity and the fact that we have a daily bearish storyline give me confidence is enough to take the sell, right? So once I've seen those two things, now I'm looking for sell entry and then scale down to H1 time frame, and it's just easy from there. So this is where the rejection happened, and then on H1 you can see that price gave us a very clean SMC structure, right? Very clean structure to sell this stuff like this, where you see a sweep and then a break and then liquidity and then entry from the key level closest to liquidity and sell, something like this, right? That's what I mean by a clean SMC structure. And as you can see, that's exactly what price did here. We have a sweep here, a hard price sweeping this high, then we had a break of just to the downside, and then we had this retracement as our structural liquidity, and this is the closest key level to the liquidity. This is closest key level to the liquidity, right? See, there's an apex key level here. Now assuming you set your entry from the apex key level, you'd have missed this trade because price did not get to the apex key level. Price used the closest level to the liquidity, which is this left shoulder. So that's why you have to pay attention to the key level closest to liquidity. You can see there is a missed entry for this apex. A friend of mine picked entry from there and he missed it. And then where's my target? My target is basically that H4 liquidity that I showed you. So that's how I caught this trade, and it's a 10 RR trade. I posted it on Twitter. I called it live on X. Anyways, you know that originally EU was bullish, and this was the H4 liquidity, and there's a key level closest to it. So from here now, we can now be looking for buys, and on H1, I've spotted a confirmation entry. So this is where I'm looking to buy EU from, and target is that external range liquidity for a total of 17 RR. Right, so let's see how this one plays out. Okay, let's do a trade breakdown on other trades I got yesterday. EURUAUD. So for EURUAUD, I got sales on this pair yesterday. So let's just check. On the daily time frame, this is where I built my storyline as high as this. That's been long. I think it's 2 weeks now. I had this pair. So let's start from weekly. On weekly, you can see that this weekly high was swept, and this is our target here. This is our target. Normally it should be this weekly low that is a target, but then I just extended it to this place because that's clearly liquidity. All those lows there will act as liquidity, right? So that's where my target was. So from here, I think I spotted it when it was around there. I've been selling until this target. So let's go to daily and see if there was a break of structure on daily. So you can see daily gave us a break of structure right here. So we had this break of structure on daily to validate the weekly storyline, and then on daily too, now we had daily rejecting this key level here, and after the rejection we will have a break of structure to the downside. So rejection here, see rejection here, and then after this rejection we had this break to the downside, right? So after that break, this is where I picked my first entry because I had this structural liquidity and this place. So the first entry I took on this pair was around here, this point here, but the SL was a bit wide. SL was above this week here, and obviously target is going to be that weekly low. So this was like a 9 hour trade, right? So after this, I did not see any opportunity to enter until price got to this point. So why did I pick this particular point for entry? If you check on daily, you notice that it's actually a very clean key level. This previous daily high was swept, and then price tapped into this daily key level, and then on H4 after price tapped into this key level, it gave a confirmation entry directly on H4. So we can see that this H4 resistance was our confirmation entry, and then this single candle formation as liquidity was extra confluence, and it was actually more clearer on H1. So you can see now we have structural liquidity on H1, and that's why I picked the second entry for this pair. So those are the two entries on EURUAUD, right? And then the very last trade was USD. Okay, the second to last was USD JPY, but that one hit SL though. USD JPY sniped my SL and then started buying. So I wanted to buy from here. I wanted to buy USD JPY from here, right? Used 50 pips as SL. I think the reason I got stopped at on this pair is because I did not cover the week with my SL. I mean I covered this week, probably wouldn't have gotten stopped at, but then the risk to reward would be small, so I just stuck to 50 pips. And logic behind this trade is basically this pair has been bullish for the longest of time, right? It has been bullish, and let's just check the storyline so you confirm with me. So we had this rejection on daily, right? After that rejection, we had a break of structure. Though it's not that visible, but this is the rejection here, and then this is the break of structure here to the upside. So after the break of structure, we can clearly see that this is structural liquidity. It's clearer on H1. Consider this is structural liquidity, obviously, and this is the key level after the structural liquidity. So that's why I picked my entry from, and price just sniped the SL and started going my way. So yeah, that's the way UJ behaves sometimes. And then the very last trade was BTC by BTC USD. So this BTC buy, I think it was quite obvious to a lot of people. I don't know if you also saw it, but then in BTC I had this sweep of this previous daily low here, and after that sweep we had a break of structure to the upside. So this was where the sweep happened, and then we had this break of structure here to the upside, and had this pullback here as structural liquidity. So I was expecting price to buy from the key level closest to that structural liquidity, which was this OCL key level here. And coincidentally, that OCL key level was a daily resistance on this CRT structure, as you can see. So it was like very clean structure. The setup was very clean, right? So I had this stuff marked out initially, but then I wasn't active when price mitigated it. I wasn't active when I came to the chart. I think it was when this second candle was closing. So after I saw that price has rejected this level and is currently closing above it, I was looking for confirmation entry. So I went down to the H1 time frame, and that was where I saw confirmation. So I initially wanted to pick a confirmation entry from here, and then price sniped it and moved a bit, but then I closed it out because I saw that this candle that broke out, the low of this candle will act as liquidity, and then the key level closest to liquidity is obviously this key level. So I closed out of this breakout key level. The reason I closed out of that breakout key level too was also because I did not know where I'll set as my stop loss, because if I wanted to set stop loss now, it would have been, let's say, somewhere here, and it's way too wide, so I just closed out of that. And this was where I picked as my next entry now. So entry was here, and stop loss was 1500 pips, I think, and then target was this. There's a daily high here, so that's what I used as my target. This daily high for a 10 RR, call it target here. So this daily high here was what I used as my. Now BTC has to sell because weekly last break was to the downside, and then daily too last breaks to the downside. So this is price taking out liquidity and tapping to this key level. I expect BTC to sell from where it is too. So I'm waiting for confirmation, but this is how I got this 10 RR setup, and all of these trades I called them live on X. Let me just show him. So for BTC, this is the setup here, and then this is when it hits pin, so that's the execution. Then for EURUSD, this was before it's triggered, and this was when it has played out. And then for USD JPY, this is the outlook, and then this was the setup, but then it sniped my SM, as you can see. And for EURAUD, this is the setup here, and then this is after it has played out. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be willing to answer them.